It's time for
DodgerHeads.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birds of party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads Live, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Medium Large Sports Network. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined tonight by Anthony Witrado, here to celebrate a third win in a row as the Dodgers beat the Reds 6-3. Clayton Kershaw, fantastic. Dodgers offense gets the job done. Bullpen, a little shaky at points, but at the end of the day, the Dodgers win this one, Anthony. And I'm not going to say this wipes away the bad tastes in our mouth from the past week, but 2 in a row against a Reds team that you expect to beat at home is a good start.
Yeah, I think so. Secure that series win, go for a sweep, 3 in a row. But we talked about it on Sunday. Maybe that Sunday wasn't the first time we've said it, but maybe that's the start of a run where they do something like win, 13 out of 20, 14 out of 20, something like that. It feels like they still have one of those runs in them. The other big takeaway is the offense looks like it's kind of coming around a little bit. There's a little more consistency there. It's been a long stretch. It's been about 2 months since they've been not very good.
Yeah.
And it looks like they might be sort of starting to figure it out. I think Mookie being, relevant again offensively is a big part of that too.
Yeah, every spot in the order for the Dodgers reaches base at least once. The only starter who didn't reach base was Alex Freeland, but his replacement, Miguel Rojas, has arguably the biggest hit of the game with the 2-run double to center field. Up and down the lineup, Mookie Betts had no hits, but he walked twice, and everybody else that started this game ends up with a hit in this one. So to your point, Dodgers offense gets the job done. And again, against a pitcher and a pitching staff that you expect them to get the job done. These are the games that I'm not overreacting to as if to say, oh my gosh, the Dodgers are back. But it is a little refreshing to just see them do to a bad team the thing they're supposed to do and I shouldn't even say bad team. The Reds are fighting for a postseason spot, but this is as expected for the Dodgers. And
to your point, the Reds aren't a bad team, but we just saw them sort of fold in a couple of those games in Denver against a really bad team. And so to see them, kind of show a little bit of consistency here is a huge positive. If they get that stuff going, with the rotation the way it's looking right now, I hyperbole maybe, but I don't know who stops them.
Yeah. And this has always been the roadmap, right? I'm not here to overreact, but the roadmap has always been score 5 or 6 runs and pitch the hell out of the ball for the Dodgers. And nights like tonight, when it just feels so ordinary and effortless, and yes, look, they only had a couple of runs until the 6th inning, but you don't leave this game thinking we just saw some extraordinary performance from literally anybody. You're like, yeah, Kershaw, that's been who he's been all season. And yeah, the offense, 10 hits, 5 runs, 6 runs. That's what we expect from this group. And so, again, we're not overreacting, but I think this is why some of us maintained optimism about this team, even through sort of the peaks and valleys.
Yeah, definitely. And, they only had 2 runs and then, it was a big inning or whatever. I think that is sort of the trademark of this offense is that it's not like it scores a crooked number every inning or every other inning. It's that if you give them a little bit of daylight, they can just make things snowball on you in a hurry. The way they approach at bats, the power that they have, the ability to hit the ball hard, all of that stuff, is sort of what their hallmark is. And, they were able to do that today and they've been doing it. They did it Sunday against the Padres. They did it a little bit last night. They did it tonight. And so you start to see those familiar traits starting to appear a little bit. And yeah, the hopium is starting to rise.
Yeah, exactly. And again, every run counts. Like, it doesn't 4 runs in the 6th inning count the same as if they were
Totally.
scored in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And so I'm not going to poke holes in this one. It was a great win for the Dodgers on the heels of a great win for the Dodgers last night. Let's get to some super chats here. And Phil's got a big one right off the jump. He says, "Are we sure Kershaw shouldn't be one of the 4 starters in the playoffs? Just asking, but it's clear he still knows how to pitch better than anyone else on the team. Look at miles and hours versus results. Adding pitches still to SMH GOAT." Clayton Kershaw's final line in this one, to Phil's point, is 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, no walks, 6 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. Over his last 16 starts, Anthony, it is a 2.67 ERA for Kershaw. That would be 11th in Major League Baseball over that stretch, dating back to the middle of May. So unbelievable stuff. To Phil's question, Anthony, should Clayton Kershaw, if the season were to end today, be one of the 4 guys getting the ball in the postseason for the Dodgers?
Yeah, I text you and the crew at DodgerHeads, in our group chat. I was like, Glass now is on alert, I think now. If Kershaw continues this kind of run through September, and we see that up and down, sometimes great, sometimes meh from Glass now.
Yeah.
Kershaw's got to be the front runner between those 2 guys, I would think, for a spot. And that wasn't the case. And I definitely wasn't saying that a month ago. Yeah. I know you were all in on him. I mean, you put him in your bullpen though, right?
I had him in the bullpen.
Yeah. I think he's making a legitimate case, and one that's becoming more and more airtight. That's not a guarantee yet, but it's getting to a point where, like, it's almost going to be a no-brainer between him and Glass now. If Glass now continues like that up and down. Yes, Glass now the better stuff, and the better velo and all of that stuff, right? But I mean, the run prevention, you that's not a lie.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think the vibes that you get watching Tyler Glass now don't always necessarily line up with the results you get. And what I mean by that is, I think people, if I told you what Tyler Glasnow's ERA has been basically over the 2 months since he came back, I think people would be surprised at how low of a number that ERA is. In 43 2/3 of an innings since coming back, he's allowed 14 earned runs. So we're talking about a guy who has an ERA that starts with a 2 since coming back in Tyler Glasnow. And again, the vibes are not good because of starts like the last one where it's 4 innings, 2 hits, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. But I do think with Glasnow, it is helpful to put in perspective. He has been incredibly good since coming back.
He's been really good. Kershaw has been really good. I think we have not seen the blow up kind of, or Glasnow hasn't had blow ups. He's had ones that just look not so great. And a reason that run prevention for him too is that, like, he's got the best average against with guys on base and guys and runners in scoring position. He's been lights out in those situations. A big part of that is because he can get swing and miss. But the walks are so scary because if you're facing really good teams and you're putting a bunch of guys on with free passes, that you're living so dangerously there. And you can say Kershaw a little bit too. If he's not getting swing and miss on a particular day, then he's living dangerously also. But I think my point is that it's now a conversation between those 2 guys, because I think the other 3 are locks.
I absolutely agree with you that I think it's a conversation. I still, as the resident defend Kershaw till my death guy, Glasnow, it's a 2.89 ERA over the last 2 months. Kershaw's 2.67. So we're talking about ERA run prevention, as we talk about here, right? Like, he knows how to pitch, run prevention. Like, Glasnow is right there, except for one of these guys has 11 strikeouts per 9, and the other guy has like 6, and that was the most he's had in two months for Clayton Kershaw. And so I still lean Glasnow. Now, this is me. Like, I think the interesting conversation, Anthony, is, would the Dodgers actually do that? Like has Clayton Kershaw, in the mind of Dave Roberts, has he earned the right? Has he earned the tiebreaker against a guy like Glasnow or a guy like Ohtani or whatever? Like, if in the Dodgers' mind, there's some closeness between some of these guys, has Kershaw earned the tiebreaker, or is it, hey, that's nice, it's a great story, you've been fantastic for us, but the postseason's an entirely different ballgame?
Absolutely. And If things like, let's say things continue to go like this, like Kershaw is still pretty good and Glasnow is still pretty good, but the walks are an issue. And for Kershaw, the swing and miss stuff's an issue. And you get right down to it. They may just go matchup based and like, okay, who are we playing? This guy looks better against this team or against this lineup. Assuming health for everybody, man, it's a tough decision. Today, I still lean Glasnow. Yeah. I'm with you, but I think it is now. I've gone in stages with Kershaw through this August of like, oh, I'm willing to hear that conversation now about how maybe he can start a game, and he's definitely in the rotation in a longer series and all of that. And tonight, I'm like, okay, let's have the conversation about him and Glasnow as the two guys that you're going to choose. So like I said, I'm still probably Glasnow as of the moment. But it's a whole lot closer than I expected it to be.
Yeah, and I see some people in the chat saying, like, why are we talking about strikeouts so much? You have to understand MLB in the postseason, from a pitching perspective, is an entirely different ballgame. It's why Clayton Kershaw, who is literally the greatest run preventer in the history of Major League Baseball, although Jacob deGrom is like right there with him, depending on how many innings you suffer, but has struggled in the postseason. It is just a different ballgame when you're facing the best teams, when things are squeezed a little bit more, when one bounce left or right changes things, right? That's why it's like, but if you can strike a guy out, you don't take the chance that blooper drops. You don't take the chance that the ground ball sees its way through the infield. Those are the types of decisions that you sort of take out of the hand of fate and of luck when it comes to the postseason. And again, I'm not saying that Clayton Kershaw isn't going to be valuable if he pitches, because I think his stuff will play, run prevention, soft contact, all of that matters. I'm just saying with a guy like Glasnow, the tiebreak of that swing and miss stuff, I think is a difference maker come postseason time. And it's why the Dodgers have prioritized the Tyler Glasnows and the Blake Snells of the world. Like, absolutely. The reason they go after these guys is not for their regular season performance. It's for the postseason stuff. Yeah,
totally. And it's the reason why that number for Glasnow starts with the 2 is because he can strike guys out. That is why.
Yeah.
He's offsetting the walks.
Totally. Bacon Tree says, keep the momentum going, foot on the gas pedal. Hawaiian Kira, time to hand the Reds their first sweep. It's, hey, if you're the Dodgers, you got to be feeling good. Yeah. 300. Pages is a horror on the bases. Not sure why Kershaw pitched on 5. Great win. Look, Pages, as textbook of a base running mistake, Anthony, as is humanly possible. Do not run to third base if the ball is hit to your right. Slow ground ball directly to his right. The guy was out. We're states away, Anthony. He was out from you to me.
They teach that in Little League.
Yeah,
like that's Little League stuff right there, and he made that mistake. He's hitting the ball though. That's good. He's very happy to be back in Los Angeles. I can tell you that. For Kershaw, I think it's one. They're not going to stretch him. That's another consideration for the postseason too, right? Like if he's a 5 max kind of guy, that comes into play a little bit. But also, I think part of it was that he was on quote unquote regular rest. I think 4 days rest for him, which they've tried to give all of their starters a little bit extra when they can. And he was in a situation based on, no days off recently, where he had to throw on kind of traditional rest, we'll call it. Yeah. So I think they were just not willing to push him.
Yeah, there was chatter about when Enriquez gives up 2 singles right after Kershaw had retired 14 in a row. There was some chatter about, oh my goodness, are we really doing this, Dave Roberts? Like, we're pulling him after 72, 73 pitches. I believe it was 72 pitches for Kershaw, 5 innings. Again, had retired 14 in a row. And yet the context was he was pitching on normal rest. Again, eyes are on the postseason. The goal is to get this man healthy across the finish line, not to finish the 6th inning. Enriquez gets a gift of a popped up bunt and then a fastball down to second base for a double play. And we're not having that conversation, thankfully, tonight, Anthony, because we almost were.
We're not. And I will say this, a little luck involved there with that popped up bunt, but also when you're throwing 101 and a guy squares to bunt, that's a really, really tough task to pull off. Yeah. If you've ever stood in a box like that and faced anybody with any kind of velocity, like even in Little League, right? When the kid will throw 70 or something like that, and you try to square around and bunt on that guy, it is really hard. It's one of the harder things to do as a hitter.
If I give you a helmet and no other padding, how much money would you need to try and get in the box? And I say Edgardo Enriquez is going to throw 102 miles an hour, and you need to attempt to bunt either 3 times until you strike out or like until you get one down. How much money would it take?
A Ohtani game check, non-deferred payment. The non-deferred salary.
Yeah, it's a big number for me, because look, you take that ball to the wrong spot, and that's life-altering stuff, I think, for somebody like you and like me. It'd be a big number. It'd be a big number is the short version. Fritz, there is something to be said about a pitcher in his 18th season with an ERA barely above 3, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks. Happy Kershaw Day, Jeff. Up and to the right. Absolutely right for Kershaw. 9 wins. I believe he's won 4 starts in a row. Is that right? There was a stat that he hadn't done that in a couple of years. I think he's got 4 wins in a row. 5 wins in a row for Clayton Kershaw. I believe they said that's the first time he's done that in like 2 years.
In 5 consecutive starts, is that it?
5 consecutive starts.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, our guy getting it done, So shout out to him. And David, Conforto slowly creeping up to a 200 batting average. Single with runners in scoring position, Anthony. I mean, it might have been a double play ball that the pitcher threw his glove in front of and it bounced. But hey, the box score says hit with runners in scoring position. Michael Conforto 1 for 1. That's all I'm saying, Anthony.
There you go. Look, the joking aside with him, he hasn't been good, right? He has not been good until the last couple of games.
I've heard that to be the case.
Yeah. If he could get at all competent, like for how bad he's been, that's kind of a game changer for the lineup if they're going to continue to run him out there.
Well, and we'll see. We'll stay tuned for some details on this. But Alex Call left the game early today. And so, Kike Hernandez did come back. Alex Call left the game early. We're not entirely sure what the diagnosis is going to be on Alex Call, but obviously that would have an impact on who's playing left field for the Dodgers if Alex Call is unable to go. My guess would be once everybody's healthy, Kike is just sliding into that platoon spot, but it's still Michael Conforto getting a lot of playing time there. So stay tuned to that. But hey, 1 for 2 today, 2 doubles yesterday for Conforto. Maybe it's the beginning of a little hot streak, Anthony. You never know, right? You never know. All right, let's do a quick just recap of this game if you missed it. Again, a big win for the Dodgers, their 3rd in a row. They maintain a 1-game lead in the National League West. The Padres jumped out to a 5-0 lead, trailed 6-5, end up winning that game 7-6. But the Dodgers maintain a 1-game lead in the National League West. They gave up a run in the first, Kershaw did, to make it 1-0 Reds after a leadoff double. But they get that run back in the bottom of the first. Freddie Freeman doubles. An error on the relay throw allows Mookie Betts to score to tie that game up. Dodgers strand Freddie Freeman at 3rd. And you start to wonder at that point, Anthony, whether or not that was going to come back to bite them. Thankfully, the answer was it did not. In the bottom of the 4th, Kike Hernandez with the sac fly, making it 2-1. And again, Clayton Kershaw finishes 5 innings for the Dodgers, retires 14 consecutive batters after giving up that run. Top of the 6th, we mentioned the Enriquez play. He gives up back-to-back singles, gets a pop-up bunt, doubles the runner off second, and 1 pitch later, it's a fly out to left. And all of a sudden, nobody out runners on 1st and 2nd, 2 pitches later, out of the inning. Good night, everybody. Bottom of the 6th is when things break open. Will Smith, 4 for 34 slump, hits his first home run in 2 weeks to make it 3-1. There may or may not have been some people in a chat that you and I were in talking a little bit of smack about my guy, Will Smith, and then he sends a ball over to the center field wall. So we'll let those people identify themselves later. It is neither myself or Anthony Witrado. Pages, the double, runs into an out, but then Kike singles, Rojas doubles off the wall in center, and Ohtani RBI single. All of a sudden, it's 6-1, and that was it for the Dodgers. Kasperius gives up a 2-run home run, but then Trinan and Tanner Scott close this one out. Tanner Scott, first save, it felt like in a million years for the Dodgers, but nice to see Blake Trinan in the 8th, Tanner Scott in the 9th, 2 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout, 2 strikeouts between those 2 guys.
Yeah. It wasn't exactly pretty or clean, right? Yeah. But
it was good enough.
It was good. It was exactly. It was good enough. And we'll take it at this point. Both those guys feel like just get us through innings for now, and let the stuff refine itself as you get out there. It's almost that sort of situation. I know they had a couple of rehab appearances each, but this feels like it's just sort of let's dial it in now be healthy, and we'll be all right.
And I think to some degree, like Tanner Scott especially, it feels like it shows you how large of a margin of error you have when your stuff is like that. Because I was paying attention to Tanner Scott. I'm not sure if you noticed this. He missed no bats tonight. Like he had 11 swings and he had one whiff. I'm not sure how many, 7 foul balls on 11 swings. So he was missing no bats. And yet it goes to show you that even though his stuff wasn't like elite, top tier, perfect, they still couldn't do anything with it. Like it was foul balls. It's not like guys were barreling balls into the outfield. It was a lot of foul tips, a lot of late, a lot of early. And so, again, not perfect for Tanner Scott, but we saw it take Blake Treinen 4 or 5 appearances to really kind of feel like he was right. I think Tanner Scott, we're in the same window.
I think so too. And what you mentioned about you can like, when you scout a guy, like say a hitter, say you only get to see him for a couple of games and those 2 games are just like, he doesn't do too much. Scouts look for other things, right? Like say he hits a fly ball. How high does he hit that fly ball? Right? Like it's stuff like that they look for. And for a pitcher, what's the quality of those foul balls look like? Yeah. Right? Are they on him? Like, are they just missing? Like that kind of stuff. And you're right. I think for Scott, even though he, a couple of the balls that got put in play looked like they got some barrel on, some of those foul balls were beat and they were just getting some wood on it and, staying alive or whatever. So there is some positive there for Scott too.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, a couple hard hit balls at the end. One's the single up the middle. The other is the double play that ends the game. So he gets out of it. The Dodgers win 6-3. Again, they maintain a 1-game lead in the National League West. Jose says, Kershaw is proving me wrong with every start. Jose, thank you for the humility. That's one thing we practice on this show is that when you are wrong about something, you admit that you were wrong about it. Lots of people were wrong about Clayton Kershaw. That was one of the few things that I would say we got right on this show was that when healthy, Kershaw has always been good. Guess what? He's healthy, and guess what? He's been very good because that's what Clayton Kershaw does.
Outside of maybe like a stretch here or there, he's never had a season where he's been healthy and bad. Yeah. He's not even had a season where he's been healthy and mediocre or mid. Yeah. Like he's been good to great every time he's been healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's get to some other storylines here, unrelated to tonight's game. An interesting note from today is MLB released the 2026 schedule. The Dodgers will open up at home against Arizona. Anthony, you shared with me, that was your big observation from the 2026 schedule. There is no foreign city attached to the Dodgers' first game next season.
Yeah, first thing I noticed right off the bat, and look, it's cool to have your team do that. It was cool last year, or this year. Sorry, it was cool this year. Coming off the World Series, Yamamoto on the team, Ohtani on the team, Sasaki on the team. You're right, like playing in Japan. All of that stuff was cool. I'm so glad they don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like one, because I want to have a traditional opening day, but also like it did seem like in both seasons there might have been a little hangover going into the stateside game. So and spring training is expedited for some of those guys, right? And everybody knows that this team doesn't need an expedited anything when they're trying to ramp up. They have enough injury issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at some other things that jump out to me schedule-wise, we're in the midst of a stretch where the Dodgers' final 31 games will not feature any against the Padres. Next season, that will be different. Their second to last series of the year is a home series against the Padres. And that is smack in between 2 3-game sets against the San Francisco Giants. So an interesting way to end the season next year with 9 games against the Giants, who I'm not expecting to be hyper competitive, but then a 3-game set with the Padres smack right in the middle of it. I also like the fact that the 4 series right before that are Washington, Cincinnati, Miami, and Cincinnati. Those are 12 games I like to see towards the end of the season from the jump. There's some nice pieces to this. I believe our own Matthew Moreno was excited to hear that rivalry weekend is back and that the Dodgers will be playing the Angels on rivalry weekend. So
of course.
That's as expected, right? But yeah, I'll be honest, I've got some buddies. We made it out to a game in Arizona this past year. And so we immediately took a look at the schedule and said, is there a game or a series that we want to try and get to? And this might sound weird to some people, but a place I've never been that I've kind of always wanted to go is Colorado. So they've got a 4-game set. It's a weird Friday through Monday series in Denver in the middle of April. So I was looking up some weather in Colorado in April. I'm like, I don't know. Is it still snowing there? I got no concept. The answer is no. Apparently, it's the temps get up into the 60s in the middle of April in Colorado. So that's a series I've got circled temporarily, that maybe Dodgers at Rockies in April. I also figure like divisional opponent, maybe those are affordable tickets to get if you're a Dodgers fan, right?
Cool stadium.
Yep, I've heard.
Cool area that it sits in.
Cool city.
Cool city. Airport to the city, terrible.
Okay, good to know.
And it's like an hour drive.
Okay.
And nighttime in Denver, assuming those are some night games there, bundle up.
Okay, I like that. See, that's better than Arizona where it's like 110 degrees. See,
Yeah.
Sign me up for a hoodie. Sign me up for a hoodie and a hat. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, just get a beverage and it'll warm you up.
Or a couple, or a couple. Who knows? But yeah, I've never been. So, anyways, that was my other observation from the Dodgers schedule release. One other bit of news here that came out today, some injury news. Blake Snell returned from the paternity list, as somebody in our chat reminded us. You can only be on that list for a few days, so he is back. The bad news, though, Alex Vesia to the injured list with an oblique injury. There's a lot of Dodgers folks, Anthony, that were sniffing around on this Alex Vesia to the injured list with an oblique injury. Did any sensors go off that hey buddy, it's been a long season, you've been good for us, maybe get some rest for Alex Vesia, or is this injury real? What do you think?
I'm not gonna lie. The first that I heard about it, my antenna went up and said, this is convenient. I hope that's what it is, because obliques are no joke, especially for pitchers and guys who swing very, very hard. So yeah, I hope that this is not super serious. The reason too, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, was because like we didn't hear really anything about it prior, right? Yeah. And like we didn't see him grab his side or anything like that after a pitch, or, and who knows when it happened, if it's a real thing. But maybe, hey, just a little soreness here. Maybe he's been dealing with it for 3 weeks. Who knows? And they were like, you know what? This seems like a pretty good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be one of those situations.
It's interesting to me because oblique feels like a tough one to fake. Like that feels like a tough one to just be, 10 days, be like, hey, he's back. Look at that. Like everything's healed. Or I guess 15, is it 15 days for pitchers? I always forget.
Yeah. Obliques are never the minimum stint ever.
Yeah. So that it feels like a 15-day injured list for Vesia. Like it feels like, can you really just come back in 15 days from an oblique injury and not set some alarm bells off down at Major League headquarters that, maybe the Dodgers are doing some fishy stuff? That would be my one sort of pushback. Like, you could strained hamstring. Like there's a lot of other stuff that you could be like, hey, tweak this calf muscle, needs a break, those types of things. So I don't know, but this would be a massive loss to the Dodgers bullpen that is getting healthy. Trinan is back. Tanner Scott is back. Enriquez continues to look good. Like Kopech continues to project to be back at some point in the next week or so, potentially when rosters expand. But Vesia has been incredible for the Dodgers and is a weapon from the left-handed side. Yes, they've got Dreyer. Yes, they've got Tanner Scott. But this would be a big loss for the pen.
It would be. It was also fairly convenient because when you look at the pen right now with the health that it's gained, and you go, man, who's the guy who's out? Like, let's say, okay, Snell comes back. Who's the guy who's out? And like if Vesia was healthy, like it might have been Edgardo.
Yeah.
And I don't think they want to do that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It is starting to get full out there, to your point. And Kasperi struggled again today. Like I know he's a guy that I had pretty firmly in my postseason bullpen, and it felt like he had been okay lately, but he struggles. I mean, flip side is after giving up the walk and the home run, strikeout to end that inning. Right. So you're kind of like, I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe he's there, but interesting stuff from Alex Vesia. And again, some bad news for the Dodgers.
Regardless of what it is, it sounds like it's precautionary. It sounds like they're not seeing it as the serious thing. So fingers crossed that that's what it is.
Some other news and notes. Max Muncy, Dave Roberts said he feels good. He's going to hit on the field tomorrow, ramp up this week, and then, quote, shortly as in this next road trip for a return for Max Muncy. So sometimes these guys go on like a week-long rehab appearance. That will not be the case for Max Muncy. It feels like, I'm looking at the schedule here, Anthony. Like, I don't even know if he goes on a rehab appearance at all with how quick of a turnaround Dave Roberts is talking about here on the upcoming road trip. I guess they've got one game left against the Reds, an off day, 3 against the Diamondbacks, and then you've got 3 in Pittsburgh and 3 in Baltimore. So, I mean, maybe it's maybe it's like, 2 days in Oklahoma City on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and then he makes his way out, Tuesday to Pittsburgh. Like, it feels like that's in play for Muncy.
Yeah, maybe so. Or maybe they just go, hey, live BP is going to be good enough. We'll see. It's all a really good sign, though. I think that like he is healed.
Yeah.
If they're saying that like that's the timetable, really good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as Tommy Edman goes, we got this quote from Dave Roberts. Quote, Tommy is running. He's going to hit in a group today. So the hitting part of it has been fine, getting better. It's more the mobility piece for Tommy. He's a little bit behind, but it's sometime early September for him too. So he's trending, according to Dave Roberts. So again, a world where in a couple of weeks, Tommy Edman could be back amongst this group. Although I'll be honest, the mobility piece being concerning, Anthony, is a real concern to me because yes, I would love Tommy Edman to come back, but maximum value of having Tommy Edman back for the Dodgers is Tommy Edman mobile enough to play center field. Like, yes, I would love to. I'll take him. If all I can get is second base, I will take it from Tommy Edman. But there is a huge difference as far as value to the team between him being able to play center field, given the roster construction and the hole out in left field, compared to if they're required to play him at second base, if you will.
The difference he makes if completely healthy, no restrictions on playing the outfield, the difference that he makes both in the lineup and the defensive alignment is so big and valuable versus if he can only play the infield. It's that gap there is huge. So yeah, I know that they were talking about last week, like, it looks like he'll be able to play in the outfield. But if it happens to be that he's not, he's, maybe a little slight setback here. We'll take him. And then you just got to figure out the rest.
Yeah. An injury update on Alex Call. Dave Roberts says it was a lower back tightening up. Call told him he has played through worse, and the hope is that he's still going to be in the lineup tomorrow. So good news there, I guess, that there might not be an injury list stint for Alex Call. Some other notes, David Vassay just tweeted this out. The month of August for Clayton Kershaw, 5 starts, 5-0, 1.88 ERA for Clayton Kershaw in the month of August. 19 strikeouts to just 3 walks, a 0.87 walks and hits per inning pitch. So pitcher of the month, very firmly in play for Clayton Kershaw in August of all months. We're talking about towards the end of the season, 16 starts in, and this guy 17 starts in, and this guy, maybe he's just warming up, Anthony.
Something we talked about like early on, right? Like when we were in April and May, we were talking about him, Ohtani, and then even after Snell and Glasnow kind of went down, like, well, at least they'll be healthy come August, right? Like that's, that was sort of our thought there. And yeah, I mean, Kershaw looks like he's in great form. Ohtani's getting there. And, Snell looks like a number 1. And, we talked about Glasnow a little earlier. So, man, if they can wrap these guys in bubble wrap and hide them from the elements and get them to October, very dangerous.
Just going through some other notes, Fabian Ardaya just tweeted this related to Alex Vesia going on the injured list. This will make people feel better. He tweets, Alex Vesia downplayed the issue, was the same side he injured last year during the postseason, but not as severe. First felt it a couple days ago playing catch. Hopeful it could be a minimal stint. So, I mean, look, if you want to believe in conspiracy theories and that this was just a, hey, take a break for a couple weeks, that's the type of quote you want to hear from Alex Vesia. Like, oh, no. I had this injury last time. Don't worry, it's not nearly as bad. Felt it a couple days ago. Being extra precautious.
Yeah.
Here.
And they were already able to backdate it a few days, so that's helpful.
You go. even better there. So yeah. Okay, let's get to a couple super chats here. Phil said, seems like without Ohtani stealing as much, less pressure, and part of why run scoring at the top seems worse. Anything behind this or not? It's an interesting thought. I haven't put too much thought into this, Anthony, that obviously is a guy who stole, 50 plus bags last year, and he's not stealing them this year. Do you think that's a big difference maker offensively?
Not so much. The guy still scored the most amount of runs in the least amount of games since like 1932 or something like that. So I don't think it's got that big of an impact. I think the bigger impact on the offense of what Phil is talking about here is Mookie being bad most of the season, Freddie having a real long and extended slump, the Max stuff, like all of that, Conforto, obviously. It's all of that more so than Ohtani stealing bases. So as long as he's going to pitch, he's not going to be running very often.
Yeah. No, and I think the point you make about like the run scoring is probably where I would go to. In 30 less games, he scored 12 less runs this season. So yes, he could be stealing more, but like he's already scoring more run. He's on a higher pace for runs scored than last year, which isn't a perfect stat, but goes to show that he has not had a problem getting on base and then coming back around. Cole says, who could use time on the IL is Andrew Friedman. Dude looks like he hasn't had a good night's sleep in 10 years.
I believe it.
Yeah. He might have had a good night's sleep after the postseason last year. He might have had a few drinks and might have slept like a baby for 10 to 12 hours. Who knows? But hey, Andrew Friedman, more power to you, bro. Cordanis, who are your top 3 rookies that were called up this year? Mine are Dreyer, Kim, and Freeland. Love the show. Keep being the best Dodgers show. That we will try our hardest to do. Top 3 rookies called up. So he mentions Dreyer, Kim, Freeland. Dalton Rushing would be in play as well. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. I don't know how particular you want to get, like guys that were eligible for Rookie of the Year, like Ben Kasparius may have been eligible for Rookie of the Year, but what rookies have jumped out to you so far this season, Anthony?
I would say a little bit of recency bias here, but Dreyer for sure. That's not recency bias. He's been a dog. Yeah. And Freeland. Freeland's just coming around offensively. Looks like he's starting to gain some confidence there. But defensively, the guy can play. He can play the infield. So he's impressed there. Rushing, so. His defense is better than I thought it was going to be. So that's been nice. Kim, the offense is still a work in progress, but I think he's shown he can play defense at this level, and the speed plays no matter what. So I think if we're saying the top 3 for me, I would say Dreyer, Freeland. I think Rushing for me, because he's, aside from him, providing some defense behind the plate, he's also giving Will Smith, those breathers, which, right now maybe looks like he needs a little bit more. Will Smith, maybe he's going to break. Tonight was a breakout, but there is something to that, and there is something to being a capable backup catcher who can give a guy like Will Smith, who's an all-star, those days off.
Yeah, and I want to apologize. Some other guys I forgot to mention. Robleski, I think technically a rookie. He could be in this mix. But another guy we didn't mention, Edgardo Enriquez, another, like, I would put in that bucket. I don't think anybody was going to realize
he's a rookie.
I don't think anybody would select him, but Roki Sasaki also in this conversation as well wouldn't be in the top 3. But yeah, I think it's been a refreshing season to see a lot of these guys come up and make impacts. Maybe not as quickly as you would have hoped, but they've started to make an impact. Again, he mentions Jack Dreyer. That was another one of my bold predictions before the season, is that Jack Dreyer was going to be a dude. He's been a dude. I think as far as the rookies go, it's like hands down, he's number 1. You could make a case he's been their first or second most valuable relief pitcher this season. So kudos to Jack Dreyer. I like these picks, Kim and Freeland. I think all 3 of those would be good. Again, if you expand this a little bit, Enriquez has really impressed me. Added another pitch. The command has been much better. And if, you could just, the pathway to him being a dude, and like a dude in the postseason this year, is not difficult to imagine, right?
I was just going to say, this is regular season based. If I'm looking at who can make an impact in October, I'm going Dreyer, Enriquez, and Kim.
Okay.
Because I think Kim, if healthy, gives them a piece that they haven't had in a long time, right?
Yeah.
Hey, it's a tied game in the 8th inning, and name a guy, Max Muncy just walked.
Michael
Go get us a
Conforto
bag.
lead off double in the 9th for Conforto maybe in that game.
Yeah. But you know what I mean?
I don't understand why you're laughing, Anthony.
Dave Roberts never has to pay for a drink or a meal in Boston ever again because he can steal a base in the playoffs, right? That could be Kim.
Yeah. I think it's a great call. We've had the debate, which I think is a fascinating one, which is Ha-Seong Kim or Alex Freeland. Who do you trust more, or who do you like more for the postseason roster? Obviously, depending on how you see the rest of the roster shaking out, makes a huge difference. Because if Freeland, I think you could make a case might deserve to start. Now, if Tommy Edman can't play center field, probably not. I think it would be hard to make a case for Ha-Seong Kim to start.
Totally.
But if Freeland is not starting, then I would much rather have Ha-Seong Kim on the roster than I would Alex Freeland. So that's where kind of that back and forth becomes a lot more interesting as well. So great question there. Let's see. Some more super chats. J-Rod, Mookie finally looking like himself before the playoffs. Again, 0 for 2, but 2 walks today. The OPS is over 900 for the last couple of weeks. It's ticking up. Again, nobody said it was going to be prime MVP Mookie Betts, but you can see the makings of a very productive Mookie Betts starting to emerge at, some would say, just the right time.
Yeah. Plugging our Unplugged morning show with Scotty G. He mentioned this morning something about, I think it was like the last 18 games or something like that with Mookie, and he had like a weighted runs created plus in like the 150s or something. Yeah. He's been very, very good. So yeah, like I said, him being relevant again in this lineup is transformative.
Yeah. No, and look, we've talked about it on this show as well, just from the perspective of like believing that Mookie Betts had this in him, and it doesn't seem like a total fluke. I don't know if this is 18 games. My guess is that it would be, but it would be a 160 weighted runs created plus for Mookie Betts over that stretch, 356 batting average, 415 on base percentage, and a 507 slugging percentage. That's over his last 82 plate appearances for Mookie Betts. So, look, if you get anything remotely close to this type of production, oh, by the way, a guy who can play elite defense, it appears, at shortstop as well. Yeah. I keep saying it. You can go ahead and bury, insert Dodger here when they have a bad stretch if you would like to. Like, we are all free will human beings. At your own prerogative, bury Max Muncy, bury Will Smith, bury Mookie Betts, bury Freddie Freeman. At your own
Andy Pages.
Pages maybe, but no, I'm just kidding. But like go for it. Like you can be the person that will be first out on those people. Yeah. Way more often than not.
That's the easy path.
Really dumb. A month later. 2 months later, 2.5 months later. Like sometimes it doesn't come back, right? Like Conforto never came back around. That never worked itself out. Okay, right. That's an L. That's an L for me. But like Pages, Muncy, Mookie Betts, like Freddie Freeman coming out of the slump, Shohei Ohtani and his slump. It's all I'm saying is that these things tend to work themselves out, and Mookie appears to be just the latest example of that as well. Let's one other news note here, real quick before we maybe get to some questions, and I think we might have some post-game quotes coming through. There was a rehab start for Roki Sasaki today, Anthony, and unfortunately, it did not go particularly well yet again. 3 2/3, 3 earned runs for Roki Sasaki is the final line. 5 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. He did get 9 whiffs. Which was good. The splitter looked good. The fastball was 99 miles an hour. And yet the results just continue to not be there. 7 base runners in 3 2/3. I will say he looked good in the first few innings and just was not able to escape the 4th. But no matter how you shake this one out, this is yet another disappointing. Like even while I'm not even going to say underlying, the velocity continues to tick up, which is good. The splitter looked good, and yet no results for Roki Sasaki.
I'll say this. With this start, I'm a lot less concerned with the actual line, what the line looks like, because the other things that you're looking for to like, can this guy actually be something? started to show.
Yeah.
The velocity ticking up. The splitter looked really good. The swing and miss stuff. Like those are all the foundational pieces of like what he's going to need to be successful at the big league level. You know, you give up 3 runs and, you know, maybe you hit a wall or something like that. Oh, fine. I'm not too worried about that right now because that other stuff is looking promising.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the context here is he gets 3 2/3 into this game and allows 3 straight singles and a walk. And then he ends up out of this game. So at that point, you do the math. Through 3 2/3 before he goes sideways, it was 2 hits and 1 walk, which is, if the inning ended right there, we'd probably be having a different conversation.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't make a ton of pitches in this game, so it's like, man, like I know it's the end of the 4th inning. It's not like he was struggling in the 5th or the 6th. So we'll see. Remains to be seen if Roki Sasaki is going to be
I think I saw also that like he was only going 4 max.
Okay, yeah, 75 pitches was what he ended up with. So that's fair. That's fair. He's probably right at the tip of where he has been. So again, I think there's pros and cons. The splitter, again, by all accounts, you can go find the videos, encouraging. Fastball velocity, encouraging. At some point, you would just like to see that translate into results. And I know rehab appearances don't matter all that much. And I know it's AAA and offensive inflation, all that stuff. For a guy like Roki Sasaki, it's like, I need to see it work at some point before I'm going to believe things are going to be dramatically different at the major league level. Like Michael Kopech, Tanner Scott, Blake Trinan, those guys struggle fine. But like Roki Sasaki, Landon Knack, Bobby Miller, like those guys I need to actually do it at AAA before I'm going to start believing things are going to go different up top.
Yeah, for me, like I agree with you. Like you do want to start to see some results, but like right now, that other stuff is more important to me for projecting his success. He's not going to be back with the club this year in like as a on the roster, so I'm not too worried about that. But can that fastball get back to? Can it live at 99 again? Can he hit triple digits again? What is like all of that stuff? I think as that starts to come, look, I mean, he's been shut down for so long too. So like, I'm sure there's a little bit of rust still being chipped off. So if that other stuff is looking better, that's encouraging. The 3 runs, came on 3 singles and a walk. Like, okay, I'm not too worried about that stuff right now. I think the pieces to see this as a positive were there tonight.
Okay. JY Kim agrees with you. Jeff is way too negative on Roki. Remember, he hasn't played for 3 months and hasn't touched a baseball until about a month ago. I should frame my commentary in the impact he's going to make in 2025. I am not out on Roki Sasaki, the pitcher, for the rest of his career. But if I sit here on August 26th, his next rehab appearance is going to be in September. And it's great to be sitting here and saying all the things that we're saying if we're talking about how good is Roki Sasaki going to be in 2026 and 2027.
Yeah.
But a 99-mile-an-hour fastball that's not fooling anybody, an improving splitter, can't get through 4 innings, 75 pitches, his next start going to be in September. That's the part that concerns me for a guy that, by the way, had a 4.7 ERA in his stint in the major leagues prior to. So again, I should frame this as, if we're thinking about can he make an impact in 2025, that's why I'm discouraged, because the timeline to pick this up and improve and start getting results, that time is starting to run short for Roki Sasaki, for a guy who's going to be pitching every 6 days from here on out.
Yeah, his season is going to be at Oklahoma now. Yeah. I don't think he's a Dodger the rest of this season. I see Blake in the chat saying he might just not be good. He's 23 and he's a prospect. That's way too early to make that kind of call. The fastball has not been good. I agree with that. But if he can start living, like I said, around 99, and then that splitter comes in, he's throwing that 40% of the time. He's playing off the fastball in a way that he was not able to when he was up in the big leagues and we were getting to see him once a week.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's get to some questions. We're going to do some post-game quotes here, and then we'll get to some questions as well. Some post-game quotes starting to come through. Clayton Kershaw, quote, this sounds crazy. It wasn't a great enough night stuff-wise. That was what Clayton Kershaw said tonight. 5 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. I didn't have a lot of stuff, didn't have a lot of life on the fastball or really anything. Will did a good job. We kind of flipped the script and just started kind of throwing a lot of different stuff, trying to be creative, keep them off balance because it wasn't coming out so good. Fortunate to make it through 5. It's obviously not as deep as you want to get, but thankfully with Emmett Sheehan last night, our bullpen was fresh. We have the off day Thursday, so it kind of worked out for us. Bullpen did a great job, and we got the win. When asked if he was surprised to be taken out after 5 innings, it was pretty evident it wasn't going to be a long night for me. Doc recognized that and made the right call for sure. So apparently Clayton Kershaw's stuff sucked, Anthony, and he had the most strikeouts he's had in 2 months, and 2 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts for the GOAT, I guess.
Yeah, he did. You could tell that he was pitching backwards a little bit more tonight than he has been recently. I wasn't sure. I just thought it was a game planning against this particular lineup for whatever reason. But interesting that he just, sort of said, like, I didn't really have it, so I had to kind of figure out a way, which is sort of what we talked about with this guy earlier. Like, he keeps figuring it out.
Yeah. I'm with you. The other one, Vesia, said, I'm very confident I can resume throwing in my normal routine. We'll take it one day at a time. I believe in 15 days we'll be good to go. So there's the full quote from Alex Vesia about his oblique. Fought to stay active, thinks he'll be okay, is the post-game stuff. And again, then the last one was Alex Call, lower back issue, has played through worse. Dodgers will see how he does with some treatment. So there you go. Let's see here. Let's get to some questions and then we'll get out of here. Again, thanks to everybody joining us. Over 1,800 people in here with us live on a Tuesday night, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Thank you to those listening via podcast, Apple, Spotify, and Google. Thank you as well. Anthony mentioned it. If you have not heard already, Unplugged, DodgerHeads Unplugged, every morning, weekdays, Monday through Friday with Scott Gierman. That is on this same channel. So 10 a.m. right here on the Dodger Blue 1958 channel. Monday through Friday. Scott is here. Anthony was on with him Monday. It sounds like maybe you'll be back on with him tomorrow morning. Is that accurate, Anthony?
No, I won't be back on tomorrow unless he asks.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a fun. I think that's going to be a fun show for you and I to hop on every once in a while, because it's going to be he wants the hot takes.
Yeah. Hey, I like it. Scott is notoriously sitting on the middle of the fence. So if he's going to come out here having opinions, I'm for it.
Yeah, it looks like our guy Blake is tomorrow morning. I love it.
Oh, there you go. You want to talk about some takes? My guy Blake was firing them off tonight.
You might get some heat tomorrow morning to start your Wednesday.
That's fine.
Not you. I'm just saying in general, like all of us, there might be some takes happening on Unplugged tomorrow morning.
Let's see. Can't wait. Parker Lee wants to know, is Conforto finally back, or is it too late, Anthony?
He's not back. Like the last 2 games have been fine, but I think he was hitless in like the 17 at bats or something like that. I saw before that.
Before 2 doubles, Anthony. Before the 2 doubles.
Hey, he hit himself into the lineup tonight.
I'm talking about, baby, and a hit with runners in scoring position today. That's what they're telling me, Anthony. Dong wants to know, Dodgers playing the Reds, opinion on Big Red, the gum, or other peppery cinnamon candies like hot tamales. I'm out. I think cinnamon flavored candy is awful and an abomination. So count me out on all of this crap, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm not a proprietor of any of this stuff. If I had to choose, I guess I would choose like Big Red gum. Okay. But yeah, I'm not like, me, I like spicy stuff. I'm all about that.
Like if somebody offered you a stick of Big Red gum, would you take it?
If I had yuck mouth, yeah.
Okay.
But just like neutral breath, like just looking for a piece of gum, and they got some Big Red, and I wanted it, sure. But if they had Big Red and double mint, I'm taking the double mint.
Yeah, there you go. I love this. Blake also said Buehler is cooked. He said that right before Walker Buehler closed out the World Series for the Dodgers last night. So, I mean, I guess that's a victory lap. Okay, I got you, Blake. We love that. Okay, let's get to some questions here. David wants to know, any chance one of you two are invited to the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce wedding? I have not gotten an invitation yet, but remains to be seen.
Yeah. She texted me and said, that they won't be sending invitations just because they're worried about them being stolen and all that stuff. So I'll get a call with the code and letting me know where to go and all that stuff. So yeah, I'll just be waiting on that.
Yeah, I did the flowers behind them for the engagement. So that was me. So you're welcome, everybody. Phil, Blake also said Kershaw isn't good. Give Roki time. There you go. You said it, not me, Phil. You said it, not me.
The memes of the Kelsey Swift engagement though are just, they're lighting up. Like, yeah, so many good ones.
It's great. It's great. I got to break the news to my wife today. I couldn't believe it. I beat her to it. So shout out to Twitter for keeping me informed on the important things here. Larry wants to know, do you think LA runs out of gas at the end of the season by playing an additional month last October? Do you think going all the way through the World Series last year, will that wear them down, Anthony, by the time postseason rolls around?
No, I don't think so. I think a couple of factors play into this. One being that so many of the guys had time off on the injured list, especially on the pitching side. And I think that's kind of where it counts most. But I think Mookie's found it at the right time. You know, yeah. Freddie's gotten back on track. You know, we would love to see Will Smith sort of, you know, get it back again. Look, even Teo's looked a little better at the plate lately. Yeah. The approaches looked a little bit better. He's hit some balls hard. So I don't think that running out of gas because they made that deep run will affect them now. I think the pitching is you know, feeling fresh. You know, maybe fresher than just about any rotation that they might see. So no, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, the rotation, Yamamoto's the only guy in the rotation who was a part of the postseason rotation last year. So if Kershaw makes it, Glasnow makes it, Snell makes it, Ohtani makes it, none of those guys were pitching in the postseason. So all those guys are going to be fresh. Tanner Scott wasn't a Dodger. Jack Dreyer wasn't a Dodger. Brock Stewart, if he comes back, wasn't a Dodger. So
I forgot about Brock Stewart on this team.
He exists. I mean, I guess technically he exists. And so I think you've got a lot of these offensive players. I'm way less concerned about the offensive players like getting worn down. A bunch of them have had like little injuries that have kept them sidelined for a little bit as well. So yeah, I think it's a fair question, but I think the way the Dodgers have handled this, the way they've rebuilt some areas of their roster, I think makes it less of a concern for me. Yeah. Let's see. Sign stealing scandal says if they option Roki after this start, so he's technically on a rehab assignment right now.
They can't option him until he's activated back or would be back, right? Like,
so they could activate him. They could activate him and then send him back down.
And then send him down. Yeah.
And he's saying, sign stealing scandal saying, if they did that, they would retain a service year, as they should, because he is a prospect, not major league caliber. They won't. Is this just for future Japanese players? So he's basically saying the Dodgers, by this, that I'm going to take your word for it on this one. He's saying if they activate him and immediately option him back down, he would not have accrued enough service time to actually take up a year of future free agency, is what sign stealing scandal is saying.
He's not spent any time in the minor leagues, not as an injured player this season, correct?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't. Signs. If you're seeing something that says differently,
he says he's coming up on the deadline for rounding up to a year of service time, for what it's worth.
Man, we're at the end of August, and he's been on the big league roster since opening day. I think he's past that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. It's Blake is saying correct. I'm not sure which I think he's agreeing with sign stealing scandal, or maybe he's agreeing with you. I'm not sure. Somebody can clear that one out. But the moral of the story is, I think the Dodgers are going to do right by Roki Sasaki, and they're going to honor probably some commitments that they made to him, which was, hey, we're going to take care of you and we're going to treat this and you're going to be okay. So Blake is agreeing with you, by the way. So there you go.
Yeah. I think he's got the number of service days that he wouldn't be a rookie anymore. So, and because to your point too, yeah, because I think there may be some of that as well.
To what Anthony is saying is that if you get up to the major leagues and get hurt, all of your time on the injured list and all of your time on a major league rehab assignment would all count as days on a major league roster.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay. Some more questions here. Wants to know, does Ohtani get to 60 homers? And also, what are your expectations for tomorrow's start on bobblehead day? So does he get to 60 homers, Anthony?
I don't think he gets to 60. I think he definitely gets to 50. I think the over
45 with 29 to go. 29 games to go.
Yeah, I would say 54.5 is your over under is what you're looking at there. I think tomorrow he finishes 5 innings. I can't recall if we've seen him finish 5 at this point.
Got it.
I think he does it tomorrow though, regardless.
Okay. And last start, am I remembering right? Last start was when he struggled a little bit. Is that right?
The Angels start, he cramped. The Rocky start, he kind of unraveled a little bit toward the end of the outing. Yeah.
4 innings, 9 hits, 5 earned against Colorado last time out. So 4 1/3 is the deepest he has gotten into a game. He unraveled against the Angels in that 5th inning and had to come out, and that was, I think, the cramping you mentioned, and then was struggled. So if he can get through 5, that would be huge. And there you go. Okay. Roger asks, would you be more surprised if the Dodgers made or didn't make the World Series right now?
Surprised maybe is not the right word.
That's Roger's word. Roger's asking the questions around here, Anthony.
Yeah. Surprised then no. If they didn't make it, I would say no, I would not be surprised, only based on like what Major League Baseball playoffs are. I think if they go in healthy the way they are right now, for the most part, and they didn't make it, I think they might be the most disappointing team in baseball.
Yeah, the lame but very smart answer is I would be surprised if the Dodgers made the World Series, because if you're asking for percentages, there is no way the chances of them making the World Series is over 50%.
That's kind of what I was talking about. Surprise maybe not being the perfect description.
And yet, if you forced anybody to pick a team to make the World Series, right? If you flip this around and said, no, you have to choose a team, the Dodgers would be the choice.
Yeah.
So it's like you can frame this either way. If you're forcing me to pick a team, I think the Dodgers have a better chance of making the World Series than any team in Major League Baseball. But if you're asking me, it's Dodgers versus everybody else, the math says take the field. So there's your cop-out of an answer, Roger. But I still think the Dodgers are very good. Cordenas, is Freeland the future replacement at third base? Muncy almost assuredly will have his option picked up for next year. So he will be around next year, and they still have a DH named Shohei Ohtani. So Muncy will be playing third base. The reality is Freeland is being – I would pencil him in as the shortstop of the future for the Dodgers, and Mookie Betts eventually moving over to second base, I think, is the most likely thing. Now, is that happening in 2026, or is Freeland kind of getting penciled in at second base, Tommy Edman in the outfield? I'm not sure exactly when he makes the move to shortstop, but if it's not 2026, he will be the shortstop in 2027 unless he falls off a cliff.
Yeah. Look, Mookie, if it weren't for some outstanding defensive guys at the position in the National League, Mookie Betts would be a candidate for a Gold Glove this season. So he's not coming off of shortstop next season. I agree with you. I think going in, ideally, they would say, unless they go and get somebody. But with this current iteration of the roster, Edman in center, Freeland takes over at second base. And if Mookie looks good defensively again next season, I think he's going to be the shortstop till he does not look like a good shortstop anymore, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Hawaiian Kira wants to know, of late, which is a better rivalry, Boston, New York, or Dodgers, San Diego? I am very biased. I don't think it's close. I think Dodgers, Padres is definitely the more, like, if you're just saying of late, definitely Dodgers, Padres.
I don't think you're being biased because I watch a lot of the national shows and YouTube podcasts and all that stuff. And coming out of this last weekend, a lot of the people were saying, because I think also didn't Boston play New York in like last weekend too?
Yeah.
Everyone I said who had this question posed said the rivalry in baseball right now is Dodgers Padres.
Yeah, no,
and I think that's fair. Like where the heat is, like if you had a heat map, like Boston and New York, the history and all that stuff. Like, but if you're talking about a heat map for right now and in the last couple of years, last few years, it's definitely San Diego, LA.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. We had one question that said, was asking, okay, if Freeland, if that's your take, Freeland as a shortstop, then who plays third base after Max Muncy? Which I think is a fair question. Do you buy into the Will Smith to third base stuff?
I buy him more at first base after Freddie's gone than I do third base.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if the third baseman of the future is currently in the organization. I was pulling up. They've got some prospects who are kind of middle infield types. Emil Morales is
maybe he's in Japan.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good point. Although there's some people skeptical if he can actually play third base, although he hits. Emil Morales is a shortstop, but he's not expected up for a long time. Kellen Lindsay, Joendry Vargas, those are both sort of middle infield guys. So from a prospect, Chase Arlen is a third baseman. He just moved into the top 10 third base prospects in all of Major League Baseball, but like his ETA on MLB Pipeline is 2028. So who knows? Like if you told me in 2027 Max Muncy just re-signs with the Dodgers and is back for another year, like I wouldn't be totally shocked. Now, would he be playing competent defense at third base? Probably not, but he might still be hitting.
And you could end up in a situation too where Mookie is a good shortstop for the next few years. Kim becomes a productive enough offensive player that he plays second base, and then that puts Freeland possibly at third base.
It's a great point. Yeah, Kim could be at second, Mookie stays at short, Alex Freeland at third, or vice versa. I mean, Ha-Seong Kim could play third base, Mookie could play second base, Alex Freeland could play shortstop. Like, I think that's probably the right answer. If you were making somebody choose, I think Ha-Seong Kim, Alex Freeland, Mookie Betts in some structure of second base, shortstop, and third base.
Yeah.
2 years from now, that's probably the best bet. So great answer by you. Last question. Jason says, with the 2026 schedule out today, what underrated MLB ballpark would you advise me to visit next season to watch the Dodgers? So obviously, there's lots of ballparks that you've been to, far more than I have. We mentioned Colorado as one I have not been to that sounds cool and might be my trip, April 17th through 20th. That's an option. It has to be a team they're going to play as well. So you've been to a bunch of these. Why don't you name one or two of your favorite away stadiums, Anthony, and then I'll tell you if this is a team that the Dodgers actually visit on the road this year.
PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
Okay, that was going to be mine. I was going to say I have not been to it, but it is awesome looking.
It is,
and I actually think Pittsburgh's kind of a cool town to hang out. I wouldn't hang out in Pittsburgh for like a week, but 2 or 3 days, I think you get it. Although whatever the sandwich shop is in Pittsburgh, I think sucks. Everybody loves it.
Oh yeah, way overrated. Just like Skyline Chili.
Pimenti Brothers. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yeah. And in Cincinnati, their chili is way overrated too.
Yeah. I haven't tried the Cincinnati chili, but people hate me for saying the Pimenti Bros stinks, but I thought it was
so one is PNC Park. It is one of the best ballparks, I think, in the league.
Okay. And they do play at Pittsburgh June 9th through 11th. So that's a good one.
There you go. And then I won't pick any NL West teams because I'll say, like, you know, Jason, if you're talking about this, like, it looks like your picture, you're at Dodger Stadium. So maybe you've been to San Francisco, maybe you've been to San Diego. So I will say Houston is a pretty nice ballpark.
They do play at Houston this year.
Yeah, it doesn't play as well on TV as it does in person, I think.
Okay. But you also have to go to Houston then.
So Houston's not great.
Not great.
As a visit, Houston's not great.
We're factoring in all things here.
Yeah.
Wrigley, they play at Wrigley, so if you haven't done the Wrigley thing, that's probably cool.
For nostalgia, history, all of that stuff, go to Wrigley once, go to Fenway once. As a place to watch a game, it's
not great. Cool city.
But Wrigley is in a really cool part of Chicago, though.
Yeah, cool city. Lots to do. Yeah. So you got that.
Yeah, Chicago's awesome.
Minnesota was the one other one I was going to mention. I've gotten to see a game in Minnesota. New ballpark, kind of a cool city. So that's another
cool city too. Yeah, the Twin Cities are great. I would say if my two final answers are going to be PNC in Pittsburgh, and I think T-Mobile in Seattle. Okay. T-Mobile is a really cool park, really cool stuff there, and it sits in downtown Seattle, which is hard to be bored if you're in downtown Seattle.
It's great crappier than Portland, but you know it's nice. Pacific Northwest.
Portland doesn't have a ballpark though.
That's true. Yeah. They don't play. They play Seattle this year, last series of the season, so you can't make it to Seattle next year. But they do close out the series in Seattle this year. So, Jason, there we go. I hope we gave you plenty of answers there. Blake says you should go to the Texas Rangers ballpark to see where the Dodgers won the World Series in 2020. So you've got that. You've got that going for you. What's that?
The barn.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Again, Dallas, not a ton to do out there. And you want to talk about in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you're next to the Cowboys Stadium, and that's about it out in Arlington. So, all right, everybody, that's going to do it for us tonight. Dodgers win 3rd in a row, 1-game lead in the National League West, plus the tiebreaker over the Padres. So good little stretch of baseball for the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani Day tomorrow against the Reds before an off day going for the sweep of the Reds. That is Anthony Witrado. I am Jeff Spiegel. We've mentioned it. 10 a.m. tomorrow, DodgerHeads Unplugged with Scott Gierman. Make sure you check that one out. Our guy Blake Williams is going to be on with him, so that should be a fun show. And then I will be back Thursday with Bruce Kuntz. I will be back Sunday with Anthony Witrado. Tons of content coming at you. So if you have not already subscribed to the Dodger Blue 1958 page, now is your chance. Ring the notification bell. Join us. Thank you again to everybody on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, Apple, Spotify, Google, via podcast. We appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone. As always, go Dodgers. And yes, still champs.